Hey, welcome to Sherry's Decor and More. I am Sherry, and today I'm going to show you a two-part to birdhouse decor. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Thank you. And any of y'all that's watching me live, you should be subscribing to my YouTube channel to get my followers up. It's fairly new to me, so I'm still working on it. Okay. What I'm going to do today, we are going to design these birdhouses. I happen to get these two at Michael's. Hi, Amy. Hey, Heather Szymanski. Got them at Michael's for $5.99. However, the 5-quarter store and more, you can get these for $5. They have 3 or 4 different designs made exactly of the same material. So you could save you $1 and get it at the the 5-quarter and more store. But I wanted different designs, so I've shopped at different, at both locations. And like I said, it's going to be a two-part. This is going to be a two-part design. I'm doing the birdhouses this morning and mounting them on these round pieces of wood. Nice chunky round piece of wood that I got at Michael's. And they were I think $1.59. No, they were 99 cents. 99 cents worth it. It's no work that you have to do on your own. You don't have to cut the circle. You don't have to sand the circle to make it smooth. 99 cents. Not a problem. You can have my 99 cents if I have less work. Okay? So we're doing that. And tonight, these are going to be designed a whole level up. And please come back if you're watching this morning and see how I finish these off after this morning, okay? So, we're going to start by putting a coat of white chalk paint on my house, okay? Just painting it, literally, that's all I'm doing. Just painting it. Then we're going to do some two-toning to it. Good morning, Lisa Pratt. How are you? We're going to do some decoupage on this. We're going to do some two-tone on this. Show you an easy way to do a two-tone. And y'all, these are going to be gorgeous when they're done. They're going to be gorgeous enough you will be able to use them on your patio, your sunroom, your front porch, in your house, on your hearth, mantle, a shelf in the bathroom. I mean, you will be able to use these anyway. It's going to be a beautiful home decor when it's done tonight. And you will see how to do it yourself. I want to put some heat on this. to dry it up a little bit so I can do the paint wash. In this glass container, I have just a very little bit of water because I don't need a lot. It's just literally probably a half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to use this brush, get me a chunk of paint on it. I'm going to put it in this water. And you can add paint until it's the color that you want it. If you want it lighter, do less paint. If you want it darker, do more paint. I'm going to leave mine just as it is right now. That's just watering it down. Then I'm going to take a paper towel. You can take whatever you want to use. Putting it on here. Chalk or acrylic. This is chalk paint, Betty. And I'm just going to wipe see this corner. I'm just wiping, brushing it on, and then wiping it off, okay? This corner. I don't want too much on the roof because I'm decoupaging this roof, okay? So I want the white to show through, but I don't mind the edges showing some blue, right? And then here I'm just going to go sporadic, put on, wipe off, like it started off blue and then it faded away over the years. That's how it's going to look when I'm done. I don't want anything to look perfect on it. And I'll even hit it with a sandpaper after I'm done with this part, just to blend it in more. Does that make sense? Just want to get my edges on this roof part because I'm decoupaging on it. I'm going to do this one in this blue. Oh, please. Then I'm going to take my sander and just hit it so that it fades it even a little more. And I'll even bring out some of the wood under the white. Remember, this is going to be decoupage, so I don't want a high coverage on it. Why am I pulling my paper? And tonight, when I do the second part of this, it's going to look perfect. Hey, I need to get a smaller piece to get in here better. Over here. But Betty, when you ask me acrylic or chalk, it can be either one. I just use chalk on bare wood because it provides enough coverage for my purpose for the first paint over. So I don't worry too much about that. Anything else showing through with just one coat, Saves on time. You can only do one coat. Okay. Next, I'll keep working with this one while that one dries on its own there for a minute. I'm going to use bird napkins for just the slanted roof part, okay? For this one, now remember, this is the part with the napkin that you use very, very small amount of Mod Podge. You're going to tear that napkin out of pieces, okay? So I'm just going down through here with a tad bit. No, you can use the acrylic on here, Betty. You can use the acrylic anywhere that you use the chalk paint. You can use the acrylic. It's just normally, if I don't want to have to do 2 coats, or if I'm going to be, you know, like this live right here, and I don't want to have to do 2 coats of putting on, drying, for time alone, I just use the chalk paint because it's a thicker coverage the first time around. So that's the only reason. There's nothing that the acrylic paint will do or not do that the chalk paint can't do or not do. So it's neither here nor there what you use. It's just whatever your preference is. Okay, I got my napkin on here, and I'm just going to go down, always in a downward motion, or you will lift your napkin from the decoupage, from the surface, and you don't want to do that. Yes, Betty, I use acrylic, like on your, all the leaners I've done for you, that's all acrylic paint. And I usually put 2 coats of acrylic paint when I do that. And that's a more efficient, cost-wise, to do it with acrylic paint. But if I'm just working on a little project, like this right here, I will do the coverage with my chalk paint because it gives it a nice coverage for me, the first layer, and I don't have to do any more layers. Okay, so that side of that roof is done. Now we're going to do the other side. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining me. Okay, we got that side done and this side done. See how easy? Okay, so I'm going to do this one next, and then I'm going to do something else to him. Let me knock some wet off of here. Okay, I'm going to let this sit for a minute. Now I'm going to take the 2 round pieces of wood. Got these from Michael's, 99 cents a piece. They're 4" in diameter. Looks to be 4" in diameter. Let me make sure. No, they're 5" 5" in diameter, and they're already sanded. They're super smooth, and worth 99 cents. It's worth it to not have to, you know, cut it, sand it, you know, all that stuff. You're just ready to go. So we're painting this, paint around the corner of it. I'm going to decoupage this, and then I'm going to do my antique wax on top of it. Let's see, I think I want to do, trying to see which bird I want to do. In my mind, I'm thinking I want to do the vine up the side here. I think I do. And I'll use this one on the other birdhouse that I don't have up here. Okay, remember, napkins come 2 or 3 ply. You have to take all the plies off. Like this one is a 2 ply. Okay. So I think I'm going to do my birds kind of like halfway up the pole, wrapping around. Yeah, I think I'll just wrap it. Yeah, I know you can't wait, Heather. Okay, I'm going to use my wet brush to do a edgy release of this napkin from right down the center of the napkin, so that way I can blend it in good with the paint on the birdhouse. If you're here and you don't know what the wet brush is, just tell me, just ask me about it, I'll tell you. You can also, instead of having a wet brush, you can also use, you can dip your regular paintbrush or a sponge brush in water and then put it on your napkin. I just prefer the wet brush because it's got a fine tip on it and it lets you, you know, go in right where you want it. Whereas when you use a paintbrush, the bristles are much wider, and it's hard to keep it, you know, contained in the line that you want it in, so it'll make you rip more of your design than what you want to rip, really. A wet brush, Betty, is this brush right here. You can get them in Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Amazon Prime. You fill that little tube up with water. You screw the lid back on. And there's a real fine brush up here on the tip, and you just turn it upside down, and when you put pressure on that tip, it brings water out. So I use it to tear my napkin, to give my napkin that edgy tear, because it's much easier to blend it in. You see the edginess on that napkin? It's much easier to blend that in when you're decoupaging than it is to cut straight across, because you see a straight fine line, you know, this bottom line, you'll see it. And I just like it better like this, basically. It's a huge difference. Huge difference. Okay. Let's put our podge on here. This will not go all the way up this design. I'm just doing it on the bottom, but I'm just brushing some of the decoupage all the way up to make sure I hit the area I need. It's not going to hurt it. Yes, Betty. I've showed it on here before. You probably just wasn't on my live whenever I've showed it before. It's a neat brush. It doesn't cost a lot of money. I think I gave $4 something for that one. But it's definitely worth having. Okay, I got that on there. Now I'm going to lay my tissue down. I'm going to lay that straight edge that I left on the bottom of this tissue on the bottom lip here of this lighthouse. I said White House. Woohoo! Nothing wrong with me. So I'm going to walk this around. Now I want to show you something. You see I got a hump right here because I want this to lay a very specific way for the birds. I didn't want any of my bird chopped off, is what I'm saying. So I had to do it a certain way. And if I didn't do it this way, then this part of my napkin would have come down in here, and I wanted this bird sitting right there, right? So I'm just going to cut this back behind the bird's tail. I'm going to lay this down and then put this flap right over it. Voila. Need to put Mod Podge on top of that napkin before I voila it. There we go. And now I have this. I'm going to cut it off right here. So part of that one bird will be cut off, and that's okay. Oops. That's okay. I still get the look that I'm going for, and okay, now to blend this bird napkin in around through here so you won't see that something is ending right there and then go right into the paint. I don't know how well you can see it. You can just see it a little bit, but I'll show you what to do with that after I sand this off on the front. Okay. Okay. So there's two ways you can do that. You can let this dry good, and then you can simply do a sanding like this, and it'll take that edge away, and it'll look just like that napkin is part of this lighthouse. I usually let this dry real good before I do this part, but I just wanted to show it to you. And I'm okay with doing it like this because I've been doing it for a minute. You know what I mean? I can do it without tearing it up. So, there, that is all good now. It's going in, blending in well with the, I didn't hit a piece. Blending in so well that I missed seeing a piece. Oh, it's right there. It blends right in there with no problem. I'm glad that I picked that bird napkin because it goes really well with that green. Can you use this two plastic tables? I have small plastic tables that use in the backyard. I was wondering, yes you can. Yes you can, Ruben. You definitely can do Mod Podging on plastic. Just get the regular matte, just use the regular matte Mod Podge, and you'll be good to go. So now, let me move this over here and this over here. Oh, the other way you can blend this in, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. The other way you can blend this in is take your paintbrush that you used and just gently paint over the edging, whatever color you're working with. Paint over the edging, and then give it, after it dries, give it a sanding, and it'll just blend it right in. I'm not going to do mine like that. I like it, I mean, it's blended in real well here. I love it like that. And I'm purposely not putting anything on the front here for this one, because there'll be other things coming out these holes later. Okay? So now I'm going to take just a piece of tissue paper, and I'm going to use my chalk teak wax. This is a dark wax. Got it from Amazon Prime. I may or may not have Prime delivering to my door on a regular basis. And by regular, I may or may not mean nearly every day. That's why I made that Christmas towel last year that said, "Here comes Amazon, here comes Amazon, right down my driveway." I sold so many of those towels, by the way. I'm going in here with this wax, and I'm just doing rubbing on, rubbing off, rubbing on, rubbing off, rubbing on, rubbing off. And when you do this, it's always best, well, one, you should really do it with a paper towel if you're going to do it. That napkin is really puny. And two, always go in the same direction. If you're going this way and then you cut it going that way, you're going to have an obvious line right there of it going in a different direction. Nobody's got time for that, right? Nobody. I'm just hitting and missing. I don't care if I cover it all. I don't care if I cover heavier in one spot than the other. That's what aging looks like. So don't beat yourself up. Let's see what I did. Hello, Miss Joanne. I'm going to do that all the way around. Rub it on. Rub it off. Rub it on, rub it off. Y'all, this wax will last you forever. You need so little of it. You see how I'm heavy in spots versus other spots? Doesn't matter. Rub it on. Rub it off. Rub it on, rub it off, rub it on, rub it off. And that's all I want to do to that. I just want it to look dirty a little bit. Grungy. Just a little grungy. Okay? I just realized I didn't paint the back trim on the bottom of that birdhouse. Bet y'all saw that and said, she missed something. Here, I'm going to bring it right up on that napkin. Straight up. That will define where your napkin's at too, which is what I just did. But I will be sanding that, and it'll take that defined line off. So I'm going to use this wood glue from Dollar Tree. Okay. And I'm also going to use this Quick Set by I think it's by E6000 glue, I think. Anyway, it's quick cold. I'm going to sprinkle some of both of them on here. Ooh, that came out fast and heavy. Wasn't expecting that. I just do this for a real super hold. Okay? And we're just going to sit this right on here. Center it around it. It'll move a lot because it's a lot of glue. But when it dries, you'll know it ain't going nowhere. Unless it's 100 degrees outside. Y'all, I don't care what glue you use in life. I don't care how strong you think it is. If it is extremely hot outside, it will melt your glue. If I ever do a design for you and you let it get in 100-degree weather and come home and half of your wreath is laying on the porch, just know that I can't help that. It is what it is. Glue can melt. I don't care what glue it is. And if anybody tells you, no, this glue, no, this will be fine for this, they lying. Miss Carol? Yes, so this is what we got so far, okay? Our lovely birdies. Tomorrow. Okay, where we left off at this morning were the birdhouses that we did. Well, since then, I got the wood cut the size that I wanted it. I got it glued onto here, my base, for all three of them. Well, 2 birdhouses. My husband came up with a genius idea. Yep, my husband did that. And he said, why don't you use a lantern for your third one? And I thought, that's an awesome idea. Woohoo, Jessica. Woohoo! So I did this birdhouse that I'm going to design to go, lantern to go with the birdhouses. And I think it's going to look awesome. Then we need further. It's always something, Miss Kim. So for this one, I'm just going to set it down here on the floor out of my way right now so I can work on these 2. Now, what I want to do with these 2 is start off with my moss. I'm going to make this whole base around here mossy for my stand. First thing. That's the first one I'm going to do. Hello, Miss Callie. I have a big bag of moss I use. I buy it from Hobby Lobby. Nothing special, just a green bag of Spanish moss. Actually, feather moss. This is feather moss. Okay, not Spanish. You love, Kelly. Get me a handful here, and I'm gonna glue in place, okay? Just put your strip of glue down there, put your moss down. That's all you have to do, nothing special. Pound it a little bit, get any loose falling off of there. Let's do this side. A little bit of moss goes a long way. If you've never worked with it, you know, you don't have to put gobs on there. We're not trying to make it a perfect coverage of moss. We're just putting some moss. That's it. Just putting some moss. There's no perfect in my crafting. I do what it feels good, okay? A pretty good variety of, I think Michael's had about, I don't know, 6 or 7 different types. Hello, Heather Shemansky. Okay, I'm gonna set this down here out of my face. And I'm gonna put a little moss right here on this bird cutout. Hello, Mr. Ribbon, how are you? There's one. And y'all, my Facebook wouldn't let me share. Thank you, Miss Selma. So, if you're on here now, toot my horn for me. Toot my horn. Okay. Let me get this moss off of the table here. Back into my bag. Okay, now let me set this down here. I just want to work on one at a time. More moss. Do y'all just forever? Hello, Michelle. How are you? Heather, look at Michelle on here. Would you ever? Do y'all ever just get so thirsty it's like you can't get enough to drink? Ugh. My mouth is getting dry. Okay, now that I got my moss on, I want to take, for the rest of this white that's left, I'm going to do some wax. You're in Indiana. Woohoo, you must be up with Ashley. Put some antique wax on this white and this round board. No, I did not do it before I put the moss. That's just wasting product if you go all the way down and do your white board. That's wasting product if you're going to cover it up. If you know you're going to attach something, sometimes it's better just to wait and do your aging or what have you, so you're not wasting product. Yep, spoiling them babies. So I'm going to hit these corners for sure. Doesn't take much of this to make something look the next level up. Just hit it. Like so. My paper towel's hitting any loose moss that I didn't bounce off. I didn't want the stands to be stark white. I wanted them to look like they've been worn a little bit. I can't wait till I have a grandbaby I can spoil rotten. So, okay, now, next. If you've never seen it before, this is chalk teak dark wax that I'm using. Hello, Michael. Does that say Michael? Yes, it does. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Okay, now. So we have moss on the bottom. We have some old looking wood that I had painted white before the live. Did the staining, got some moss in the thing, and that's super cute just like that. You would not have to do anything else with this and it'd be super cute. Okay? But y'all know Sherry better than that. I'm going to stream some ivy. Let me get it all untangled. These are real thin. The material of the ivy is thin, so I can just cut it with anything. And but it entangles just like real ivy. Just like the real stuff. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is glue this inside this hole here. For this one, that's what I'm going to do. I know it's the bird hole. Okay? But now it's not. Now it's Sherry's. I own it. I'm just going to take this around just like this, down the front and around this side just like this, right? Not even, let me get this. Let me try to hold this for a minute so it's actually glued down, okay? So I don't get ahead of myself. Yes, Phyllis, it's a lighthouse. And I decoupaged the napkin on here halfway, 3/4 of the way up with the birds around it. Okay, now then. I may want to do it like this, up on top, and then just swoop down in the front, just like that. So let me glue it. I'm going to have just some tiny glue points where I want it to fall. Okay, just some tiny glue points where I want it to fall. If I quit moving it, I swear, well, I swear. I keep moving it with my finger. There we go. And then I just want this to come draping at an angle on the front. So I'm going to glue the bottom piece of this to this moss down here. So the green, it just blends in with it. Y'all, I got glue on my hands and picked up moss. And this lighthouse came from Michael's, Phyllis. So that's all I want on that. Just a simple ivy going around the back of it and swooping on the front. Do you see that? And it's beautiful like that. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. We will add our lights. I want that to glue. I want that to set for a minute though. I don't want to mess up the glue. I'll add the lights after I get done with these other two. All right. Let me clip this one off. And go around it. Just braid on this one. By the time I get done, all the loose stuff I haven't knocked off with that moss will be off. Okay, is this one working? Yes. Let me untwist this here. To me, you all, these are gorgeous, but to put a light on it, if you're sitting out of the evening time and it's dark, and turn these on, I mean, if you have it on a table on your porch, or sunroom, or wherever, if you have it on your mantle and you're just enjoying your evening watching TV, these will look super awesome just turned on for your little bit of lighting. And never ever ever have to turn on a big light, because you have these little lights glowing while you're watching TV. It's about the ambiance. It's about the ambiance. Okay. Carol, are you on here, Carol? Was it Carol or Cheryl that I said this morning, y'all? I don't remember. Yeah, everybody had started jumping off already, so I didn't get my story out. But one of you shared my live the other day, and I had done just a little humming of a tune of a song, and Facebook muted 35 seconds of my video when it was shared out because I didn't have rights to hum that song, I guess. I wish I could say I was lying. I'm not. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So if I hum, I need to stop and say, oh, by the way, I don't have rights to this song. Seriously? I don't think that should count ever. Do y'all see what I did? It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Actually, I'm going to bring this up right here and end it right here. Just going to let that sit there on top of that ivy. And then we have this one. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to turn off the overhead light and then turn on these lights so you can get a better idea of how they look. Well, I'm going to turn off my camera light as well. Then I'm going to turn all of these on. There we go. Do you see this? They're absolutely beautiful. They really are beautiful, and you could have stopped at many levels going down through here, but why? If you can up it to a whole new level, do it.